Hey you guys, it's Rachel here with Life of Senza. So, here are my baby chicks. These are my meat chickens. I got 25 of them, but I haven't counted them. I think they sent me more than I ordered, which would be normal. They usually send you 1 to 3 more depending. And this is an old water from the I had some roosters over here, some mottled Brahma roosters that were in hold on, here we go. There you go, bro. Alrighty. Alright, there we go. So this is the water I normally use. I'll probably take this one out because these are really dirty birds. And also, I was watching this guy who was talking about how to raise meat chickens, because a lot of people do it wrong and they kill them, unfortunately. So one of the things that you do is you have your water on the opposite side of the pen as where you have your food. And that forces them to have to walk because they are like naturally kind of lazy birds. And also, you don't want to overfeed them. A lot of people think that what you're doing is that you're, kind of fattening them up. And to some degree, they'll do that on their own. But these birds have a double muscling gene. And so that's what makes them so big. So it's not that they just eat a lot and get fat really fast. Like, they genetically are different. And so that's why you can't just buy the breeds that these breeds come from and just breed them and produce these guys, because it's really complicated. And apparently you have to have like breeding males and breeding females to produce meat chickens, but they're not all the same, if that makes sense. So I think what that probably, and I'm taking a guess here, but what I'm thinking that probably is that, like, basically you want one that is positive for the gene but isn't exhibiting it itself, because it's my understanding that when they have the gene, when they're positive for having that gene, and I think I guess that would make it a recessive gene. And so anyway, but basically, a recessive gene, which is so funny, I've been learning this stuff. So anyway, so I believe a recessive, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe a recessive gene is one that can be in the dog or animal, can be in the animal, but cannot necessarily be, the animal can like not be showing it. Whereas a dominant, gene, if the animal has it, then they are presenting it. And so these guys, and like I said, I could totally be wrong on that. It's just my very, very basic understanding of dominant versus recessive genetics. But ultimately, these birds have a double muscling gene, and they are actually exhibiting that, and so they are going to be very, heavily, they have a lot more meat. They have like double the meat on them that a normal chicken would. So that has a lot more to do with their size than anything else. So having said that, the reason why that matters is that you don't need to overfeed them. And because they do have this gene, it also causes them to be like voracious eaters, to have this really wild appetite. And so it is important, because they will eat themselves to death. And not only will they eat themselves to death, but they'll also eat themselves to the point where they can't get up, they can't walk. And a lot of people think that just happens, that they have like leg problems. But it's not necessarily they have leg problems. It's that, whoa, bro, did you just attack me? And they will eat you. Let me be very clear. These birds are like, they don't play. They are so hungry that they will legitimately try to eat you. When you come in the morning and you try to feed them after, because you have to pick their food up at night. And so, where are you going, dude? Look at that. They don't even run. They don't even run. They're wild, dude. These birds are wild. I mean, they run a little bit, but not enough. But they're bred to be that way. That's my understanding. I watched this one guy's video, and he was talking about how annoying it was. He did these red rangers, and he was annoyed with how hard it was to catch them. So these guys, you want to take away their food at night. I'm feeding a non-GMO feed for broilers, which are what these guys are, and they are already like substantially fatter and just super heavy. They're like lead weights. It's pretty wild, and they're just doing really good. I have not lost any yet. Hopefully I don't, and I've not had any with any kind of issues. And so I have, like I said, I have been good about pulling up the food at night. What they get is what they get in the daytime, whatever they can finish. And then that's just it. And I will adjust that as they get bigger, because I know that they're going to end up needing more. But ideally, I want them to be, how I'll be judging at is like looking at that and being like, all right, so, how long, whoa, quit trying to bite me, bruh. Quit trying to bite me, Bill. What? So anyway, so that's what's going on over here. And I'm not at all weirded out about processing them. I've very fully come to terms with that. I've had to really rationalize it to myself that basically, like, why would I have an issue with this if I'm perfectly willing to buy chicken from the store that has not been kept as humanely and probably isn't near as healthy for me and my family. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like brainwashing that you get. And I remember I had it when I had my very first egg from my chickens. And I was like, I was almost weirded out by it at first. And then I had a moment where I was like, because I had already cooked it. It was on my plate and I was ready to eat it. And I was like, oh my God, like, this is an egg, like unsanitary. Like, in my mind, somehow it was unsanitary. And then I realized in that moment, I was like, oh my God, like I didn't even realize how heavily brainwashed I was, because why on earth would I ever assume that an egg, the way that it's supposed to be collected and raised and everything, could somehow be inferior or less sanitary to an egg that came from like commercial farming. And so it was really interesting. And I was like, you know what? Like, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna allow myself to fall into that stuff. Like, I'm gonna do this. And that's exactly what I'm doing with this. And I don't know, y'all. All you have to do is look at your dang grocery bill to know what the right path forward is, at least for me. So that's what I'm doing. I'm doing this for our family. And it has not been expensive. So, which is pretty wild, I will say that. That's definitely wild, because chicken is very expensive right now at the store. And so, especially like this kind of chicken, you know what I mean? Like, you might be able to take the most, unbelievable cheap chicken, but this is, that's not a fair comparison to what we're doing over here. So these, birds are chewing on little bugs, and I did throw in some grass cuttings and stuff, and I'll continue to do that. And they're eating non-GMO feed, and they're getting, sunshine, and, like I said, eating on the little bugs and stuff. So it's just a totally different story. And I think that as many of us as that can should be doing this, and also should be supporting your small farmers. Really, there's a lot of stuff stacked against your local farmers and stuff right now, and you really got to go out of your way to find them. And every system is set up to make it harder for people to sell animals, and to be able to sell meat and just all kinds of stuff like that. And you dang near have to go underground at this point. So just keep your ear to the ground, and you know, I'm sure you'll find somewhere local where you, because a lot of these places can't advertise, so you almost have to kind of look around and stuff. But it's worth it for you and your family to stay safe, to stay healthy, and to get off of our ever more corporate, you know, food chain. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what's going on. All I know is that this is not this is not the America that I grew up in. So anyway, I hope you guys are having a good day, and I'll talk at you later. Bye.